Gurmaga, thank you, and thank you to Senator McGreehan for bringing this topic. If, of course, I may offer my sympathies to the family of Nicole Morey's family in Limerick, an absolute tragedy that no one and that family will never forget. It is shocking that we're hearing these stories. I know only last year, Minister, we were speaking about this in relation again to the child that was attacked, as Senator Malcolm Byrne referenced there as well. I really do appreciate the work to date. I know that after that incident, there was a real push to get the working stakeholder group put together, and it brought together two departments. It brought together your own department, Minister Humphreys, of course, and the Department of Rural and Community Development. It's unusual that the ownership of dogs and the monitoring of dogs falls under two different departments, both the Department of Agriculture to issue the licences, which has one database, and the microchips, I guess. Then you have the Department of the Local Authority, Local Authority and Heritage, which again is a separate department. And then for yourself, Minister, in your department, that it is through the Department of Rural and Community Development that's around the dog ownership. So that's three different departments. That's a lot of space for things to sometimes go awry. Minister, I suppose some of my questions is, how do we support joined up thinking between three different departments on this? And I appreciate your leadership and Minister McConlogan coming together to set up this dog control stakeholder group, but I would be curious about why and how it has to be those three different areas. Very much around the banning of dangerous dog breeds. I know that this group is going to focus on dog control, but we have to look at this. Now, I've grown up on a farm and I own beautiful pets and lovely dogs. And I also want to acknowledge that, in our countryside, along with farmers being guardians of our landscape, we have a lot of people who rely on dogs, working farm dogs, as well as pets. And I think it is something that is a pet for someone, older in life and younger in life, can be a friend, and it means so much to them, especially when so many people, older people, live alone in rural areas. Sometimes the pet is the only thing they see day in, day out. So I very much acknowledge that. But people who live in rural areas normally are very much cognizant of the responsibilities that lie with that. I remember last year going around to look at dog kennels in, the specific pet shops. And I couldn't believe it. Those kennels don't come with a lock on the door. Now, they explained, well, now people, that dogs aren't locked in and so on. But the kennels that were being sold didn't have a little even lock on it. Now, I guess people have maybe a fenced-in area, but sometimes, you don't have a fenced-in garden. And I know farmers love the topic of fencing as well, but, for homeowners and householders, fencing in or having an area where the dog is at home, where it's fenced in and it cannot leave, is really important. I know that we always have to ensure that our dogs are locked in at night time or that they're in the home at night time. Minister, you're looking at a number of areas here, and I recognise from the press release that you issued only in March, that you've trebled the on-the-spot fines for dog control offences. You provided nearly 2 million for dog warden services. And I would link in very closely with Galway County Council, Roscommon County Council. I live close to a beautiful bog landscape, of course, that I love. And of course, there's a lot of bog activity at the moment, people getting ready for the turf and so on. But as well as that, people abandon pets in bogs, and many times I've taken a dog and tried to bring it home and then connect with our local dog warden, and then the dog warden comes back and says to me, actually the shelter is full, the shelter is full, what are we going, it'll take some time. So what I would just ask, Minister, is maybe that we're looking at how we're looking at the funding for dog shelters, the support for dog wardens. As you've done here already, you've trebled the on-the-spot fines, but we do need to see then, as well as that, Minister, is what funding has been allocated to join and link up databases so that dog wardens maybe have access to a tablet, the same way we see our guards with access to a tablet. I mean, it's not groundbreaking technology, but that they would be able to see and link in the database that's with the Department of Agriculture and the monitoring database that they have themselves in the local authority. Now, it is difficult because we're looking maybe at three different departments and their IT control systems, but there should be a way that a dog warden on the street, that is your representative enforcing dog control measures and legislation, has access to that sort of technology, that they can make an instant decision, be it that there is a fine or there isn't a microchip or there isn't a license in place, that we're supporting dog wardens to do that. I guess, Minister, that enforcement, we can talk about all we like with the legislation and putting it in place, but if there isn't enforcement, if the dog warden on the spot cannot make a decision and not have linked in databases, where are we going? We're going to talk about this and we're going to have the legislation and it's going to sound great, but we're not going to have enforcement. And with enforcement brings changes in behaviour. We know this. We see it very well with the penalty points on the road. Changes in behaviour lead to safety on our roads, safety for people. Enforcement of this dog legislation, supporting our dog wardens, making sure that they can make on-the-spot decisions means safety for families and those people and those families that have to suffer horrific dog attacks and loss of life. I only want to highlight, Minister, that you have supported, and I know that you are using your leadership here to try and drive change, but I would highlight, just again, enforcement. Support our dog wardens, give them the chance to have the resources in the dog shelters and that they can link in those databases with the Department of Ag. I know it's not an easy process. Nothing like this is easy across 3 departments, but whatever you might suggest. Thank you, Minister.